Everyone, today I'm going to talk about the Kala Purusha's horoscope, and this is the first horoscope that most astrologers get to learn about. And you may be curious about your own chart, but the Kala Purusha's horoscope signifies the natural zodiac order and lays the foundation, so to speak, for predictive astrology. So you may ask, who is this Kala Purusha? You can think of Kala Purusha as time itself personified, as a cosmic being. Okay, and I've drawn a diagram of a body. You can consider this diagram as representing the body of the Kala Purusha, and we'll see what each sign represent uh, uh, in terms of the body part of the Kala Purusha, and also the different houses that make up the zodiac order. Okay, and beginning with, and I'm going to begin with Aries, and Aries represents the head region of the Kala Purusha, and the Kala Purusha's ascendant is also the same as the Aries ascendant. So he has his ascendant in the Aries sign. So if you're an Aries Lagna, it's going to be much easier for you to understand your own chart. However, if your Lagna is something else, we'll cover that as well. But it's very important for you to know the natural zodiac order, because that's going to help you uh, reveal some secrets about your own chart, which you will come to appreciate at a later date. Okay, so the second sign is Taurus, and it is also the second house in the natural zodiac order. And the second house represents family relations, love, and the things that you own, the things that you possess, are all seen from the second house. And this sign is ruled by Venus. So, in a way of speaking, these can be considered as the tangible things that you love, or the tangible things that you come to enjoy in your life. So, some of the astrologers also look at the placement of Venus itself to see how materially you will prosper, how well materially you could prosper. Okay, we'll cover that up in another video, but going forward, we're going to look at Gemini, and Gemini is the third sign in the natural zodiac order, and Gemini represents the arms, throat, lungs of the Kala Purusha, and the third house is ruled by Mercury. I'm sorry, the third sign, Gemini, is ruled by Mercury, and it also is the third house. And the third house represents communication. Okay, and among other things, other than communication, it also represents siblings, it represents short distance journeys, it represents your primary education that you get to complete up to your graduation at any university. Okay, so the higher education is actually seen from the ninth house, whereas the primary or the graduation is seen from the third house. Okay, and the fourth sign is Cancer, and the Cancer sign rules the chest area of the Kala Purusha, and also the fluids in one's body, especially water. Okay? And the fourth house also represents home and comfort. Okay, so in Vedic astrology, the fourth house is called as the Sukhasthana. Okay, which means the place where you're most comfortable in. And the fourth house can also be seen to check how well placed your comfort level is in life, and the kind of home that you will live in, the kind of vehicles that you will travel in, the it also represents the properties that you own. All of this can be seen from the fourth house, and the sign itself, that is Cancer, is ruled by the moon. Okay, and the fifth sign in the natural zodiac order, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, is ruled by Leo. Okay, and Leo represents the stomach region, and it is also the fifth house for the Kalapurusha. And the fifth house can be thought of as the creative side of the individual. You may also look at this sign to see about your prospective children, or if there is going to be any delay in siring children or otherwise. And it also represents everything that is connected with pleasure, fun, amusement, entertainment. It also represents media, and this sign is ruled by the sun. Okay, and the sixth sign, Virgo, rules the hip region. The sixth house is considered to be one of the most malefic houses because the sixth house represents diseases, and it also represents the amount of debt that you will have in life, and also the challenges that you're going to face in your daily life. You can also see the kind of disputes, the kind of routine life is also somewhat seen from the sixth house. So you can think of the sixth house as somewhat connected to your career as well, because you go through the motions of routine mostly in your workplace. So you could also see what kind of routine that you will get into by looking at your sixth house. Okay, and this sign itself is ruled by Mercury. So Mercury also rules the third house. Okay, in the natural zodiac order, or you can say that it rules Gemini, and Mercury and the third house represents habits of an individual. Okay, and sixth house represents diseases. So the kind of habits that you have can be seen from the third house, and the kind of diseases that may be a repercussion of the habits that you have can be seen from the sixth house. Mercury itself is looked for in a particular person's chart to see the kind of diseases that one may have, because Mercury represents the nervous system in Vedic astrology. Okay, and the seventh sign, Libra, represents the reproduction. It also represents the reproductive organs of the Kalapurusha. It is also the seventh house in the natural zodiac order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And the first house represents the self, whereas the seventh house represents your spouse. Okay, it also represents your partners and also the other people in your life. The other people in your life is represented by the seventh house. Okay, not to confuse with the seventh sign, I'm talking about the seventh house. Okay, and the sign itself is ruled by Venus. Okay, sign is Scorpio, and Scorpio represents the anus of the Kalapurusha, and it is also the eighth house in the natural zodiac order. And what is this eighth house? Eighth house is things that are hidden, things that are mysterious, and it also marks sudden incidents in life. This sign is ruled by Mars, and most astrologers consider the eighth house as a very negative house. You can consider this as a very negative house because the eighth house also represents death and rebirth. Okay, it also represents transformation, almost always in a very negative sense. You can consider them you can consider the example of a politician who faces a lot of humiliation, who faces a lot of embarrassment in life before he reaches the top, and he is at the helm of affairs. Okay, so that is the kind of transformation we are talking about when we look at the eighth house. So it's not a very easy house. When we talk about transformation, it's not a very easy thing. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of become that person, to become that individual with who is kind of emotionally hardened to face face the most grueling situations in life. Okay, that is seen from the eighth house, and the ninth sign is Sagittarius in the natural zodiac order, and it is ruled by Jupiter. And the ninth house is representing Dharma, the luck of the individual, and also represents the philosophy that one may hold. It is also the house of higher learning, and the ninth house also represents your father. The fourth house represents your mother, and the ninth house represents your father. There's a lot that can be said about the ninth house, but I'll cover that in subsequent videos. And you can think of the ninth house as the higher education that a person may pursue in life. And the 10th house, or the 10th sign, is ruled by Saturn. Okay, and the 10th house represents the career or the service or the livelihood of the individual. And amazingly, the 10th house of the natural zodiac order is ruled by Saturn. And why is this amazing? Because Saturn is considered to be one of the most malefic planets in Vedic astrology, but that's not the only thing. Saturn also represents discipline, organization, skills. And the 11th sign in the natural zodiac order is Aquarius, and the Aquarius represents the calves and the ankles of the Kalapurusha, and the 11th house indicates the gains, income, and profit. And this sign is also ruled by Saturn, and it makes sense because the 10th house is ruled by Saturn, which indicates your career, and the gains must also come from, or at least the major part should come from your career or service or your livelihood. So both these signs are ruled by Saturn. Okay, and the 12th sign, Pisces. 12th sign Pisces represents the feet of the Kalapurusha, and it is also the 12th house of the natural zodiac order. And the 12th house indicates losses in general. So you can consider 3, 8, 8 and 12 as representing malefic houses in one's chart, because the 12th house represents all kinds of losses, especially material losses in your chart. But the positive side of the 12th house is that it is the house of spirituality, it is the house of your dreams. It also indicates your comfort level in the bed is seen from the 12th house, and the sign itself is ruled by Jupiter. Okay, and that marks the end of the Kalapurusha's horoscope. I'll see you again with another video, and thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you again with another hopefully enlightening video.